Look, there's always risks in any investment that you make. That's why you need to be educated and understand the market. But crypto is highly volatile, as a lot of people entering the space would understand. But we are getting less volatile as time goes on. And the market is very cyclical, and we seem to follow a 4-year market cycle. And the market has seemed to cool off a little bit, certainly this last few years.
The Get Rich Slow Club podcast is a collaboration between Tash from Tash and Ana from Perla. The Get Rich Slow Club acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land we record on. From coast to coast, across land, waters, and communities, we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Any advice is general and does not consider your financial situation, needs, or objectives, so consider whether it's appropriate for you.
Welcome to the Get Rich Slow Club podcast,
where we take you from beginner to confident investor,
where we can teach you everything you need to know about investing.
So come get rich slow with us.
Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Tracy Plowman from Bamboo. Welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me. Excited.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about all things crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, very beginner intro basic episode. But first, money wins, money losses. What's yours?
Okay, look, I have had a couple of losses recently. One similar to Anna mentioning her kids' school shoes the other day, in the same boat with a couple of school shoes. But one that I've just kind of looked at this morning was I upgraded my computer. It was actually a few months ago now, and I thought that I had changed over my security partner, and I'd actually changed the wrong one over. The good thing was I'd put 2 on. And the second one came out of my account last week, just automatic renewal, $190.
Yeah.
So I was paying for 2. Emailed them last week, said, can I have a refund? Came back this morning, said, no, read the terms and conditions. I know. But it's $190.
Yeah, the annual subscriptions always get me. I found this with VPNs. You sign up and it's like you can get your first year free, and then you get a random like $200-$300 charge a year later.
I'm wondering whether I should go back again.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
What about you?
Hard one. Mine's a bit more random. I'm going to Uganda in soon. Yeah, very exciting. And I needed to get a yellow fever vaccine, but I've actually had one as a baby. And Mum found my little yellow vaccine passport from when I was a baby. So
does that last forever?
Yeah, apparently lasts your whole life now.
There you go.
Yeah, so money win, don't need to pay a few $100s going to get another vaccine.
But Uganda?
Yes.
Okay.
Go your hike with the gorillas.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And you did say at the start of the year that you were going to go to some places that were a little bit more unusual.
Yeah, that I've never been to before, because I got in the trap of just booking all the Bali trips and they're on special.
I know. I did hear you say that on one of the episodes. And actually, you know what? It's nearly the end of February, and you did say that you were going to have one of your other things ticked off towards now, because you're buying another property, aren't you?
So, oh my gosh, you have been listening.
I have been.
Yes, I was on a call with my accountant this morning, actually, just sorting out that stuff so I can get all that submitted, because now I have my own company and I'm self-employed. It's a bit more trickier to get a property. But wow, you are up to date and keeping me accountable.
I know. Fun. Do you know where you're going to buy yet?
I'm not sure. I'm going to use a buyer's agent, just wherever they say, but probably not Perth again.
Okay. Have you got your buyer's agent yet?
I found one I think I'm going to use. Yeah, but I'm going to get pre-approval first and then go to them. So hopefully that'll be coming soon.
Exciting times.
Yeah, maybe closer to April by the time I get back from my big Uganda trip, because I don't want to be offline and trying to deal with stuff there.
Yeah, okay. Uganda, though, that's going to be amazing. Look forward to hearing about it on shows to come.
Exciting. I want to hear a little bit about your journey. So you work at a company called Bamboo and you are the COO, is that right? Pretty
correct.
Cool. How do you end up there? How did you even get into working at a tech company?
Oh, look, I'm certainly not the techiest tech person at the tech company. I get called boomer a little bit as well.
Oh, no.
No. Look, it was a long road to Bamboo. I was working with a digital fund, one of the first digital funds in Australia back in 2018, before becoming part of the founding team at Bamboo, and certainly wasn't involved in any tech before that, and have been with Bamboo ever since, and certainly hook, line and sinker with everything to do with crypto at the moment, and finding myself very passionate about the field, to be honest.
Why are you so passionate about it?
Look, I love everything about it. I've been in many different fields over the years, and I just found myself, I love everything about crypto. And I guess if I was really going to boil it down to anything, I'm a bit of an underdog supporter. I always like a good challenge. Fremantle Dockers supporter.
Oh, yes.
But I also feel that I'm a little bit disillusioned with the banks, you know, being someone who has a home loan and has kids and all of those challenges. I really feel that the banking system globally has some big issues. It's quite cumbersome. There's the fees. I feel like the little guy needs that leg up. I mean, just this week, I think Commonwealth put out in the last couple of days, they made, $5.1 billion half-yearly profit.
Yeah, wow.
So, yay for them.
Yay.
So I feel that there needed to be another option for people to be able to take control of their own wealth. And once I really understood a bit more about Bitcoin, the blockchain and cryptocurrency, I kind of drank the Kool-Aid or for lack of a better word. Yeah.
Joined the cult, some of them feel like, yeah.
Yes, I guess.
When did you first buy crypto?
Back in 2018.
What did you buy? Are you happy to share?
Yeah, sure. I think no one would even know what that coin is now. It was a coin called Datum, and it was a terrible experience. I actually got my first paycheck in it, and it's probably gone worth nothing now. Okay. And that is because I was uneducated and didn't know anything and just jumped in without knowing. And, I learnt my lesson very quickly and started to really level up and learn. And I think that's what a lot of people do, just jump in very quickly.
Yeah, you see someone talking about whatever the coin of the week is. I've seen a lot with Trump getting in. There's the Trump coin.
Oh, my God.
There's Melania, the Melania coin.
There's always something. Yep.
What do you think about? Actually, no, let's go back a little bit. These are all the questions I'm excited to ask. But for anyone who doesn't actually know, what is cryptocurrency? Do you have a quick definition?
God, that's a big question, isn't it? But I think it's digital money. It's digital value.
Yeah, digital money. I like that.
Digital value, yes. And I think it's such a big subject and there's so many things that you could go into, but the most well-known would be Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. I think everyone would have heard of Bitcoin, but there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of coins now because of meme coins. But Bitcoin would be the most well-known.
And what actually is Bitcoin? So it's this digital currency. Does it have any other purposes or uses, or it's just a currency?
So Bitcoin, I think a lot of people call it now digital gold. Mm-hmm. But when Bitcoin was invented by an unknown person or entity called Satoshi Nakamoto, which was back in 2008. It really was invented to be used as solving the problem of the double spend, which was a problem back then. And it was meant to be peer-to-peer exchanging of cash. And what he wanted to do, or they, wanted to do was, it's really hard to explain. Let's go back and think about banks. Right now, for us to move money around, you need to use a bank. And when you use a bank, there's an intermediary in the middle, isn't it? So if you get charged a small amount, and that's happening because someone needs to make sure that you've got money on the other end. And that's that double spend. Someone needs to make sure you actually have that money. So Satoshi's white paper and Bitcoin, using the blockchain smart contracts, that is solving that double spend problem.
Okay, lots of words. Blockchain, smart contracts. Yes. Blockchain, what's blockchain?
So the blockchain is something that probably I find really hard to explain, but let's say it is a bunch of computers all over the world taking note of transactions as they happen. Mm-hmm. And it's all out in public. You can see it. The ledger is there for everyone to see. And that is done by cryptography, which is why we call this cryptocurrency.
Okay, cryptography. It sounds like oceanography or something at the bottom of the ocean. Fun, so many words. Okay, so you've got a bunch of computers writing down all the transactions and where all these coins and stuff are going. And then what was the other word you said?
There's so many different elements to crypto, blockchain, for everyone to get their head around. It's like
even shares as well, when you don't understand anything about them and you hear like the word ETF, you hear stock market, you hear stock exchange, you hear share register, you're just like, what are all these people doing? What even is it? And it's really hard to conceptualize that you buy a part of a company and somehow that gets sent to this random brokerage account and you own it, but you can't, it doesn't feel like you own it. It's not like property where you look at it and you're like, wow, I own this property. It's just like, someone says you own part of it. Good luck.
Yeah.
There's another popular one I hear people talking about, Ethereum. What is that and how is it different to Bitcoin?
So you're right, Ethereum. We always hear Bitcoin, we always hear Ethereum, and they would be the blue chips. And the easiest way to explain Ethereum, now let me get this right for everybody, potentially think of Ethereum as Windows on a computer. And now you can put lots of applications or build things on Windows, but it's not actually owned by, say, Microsoft or Apple. It's actually owned by no one. And what happens then is instead of a head office somewhere, instead there are volunteers who are working on their computers and they get rewarded.
Amazing. So it's also, you can build apps and stuff on it and things on it, but you can also use it kind of like Bitcoin and trade it for money as well.
Correct. Yes. So these volunteers would be getting Ethereum as their reward and they can then go and trade those.
What are the ethical considerations around crypto? I know there's a bit of debate around Ethereum maybe being better than Bitcoin for the environment.
To be honest, I don't know enough about it, but I would say they're both the same. I think the ethical debate about crypto in general, it's there. I mean, I have done a little bit of research myself into this because it is something that concerns me personally. And when I did take a look at this, to be fair, it was maybe a year or two ago, we actually had someone named Daniel from Iris Energy on, and Iris is one of the biggest mining companies for Bitcoin in the world, and they're actually from Australia. But they've actually gone hydro, and a lot of the mining companies that do mine Bitcoin, which is another whole interesting aspect. So they are trying to be as ethically responsible as possible. And when I did do that little bit of research myself, I did a comparison to mining gold, say here in WA, and it wasn't that far off when you look at the implications on, say, the land and how we do those types of things. So I think we need to understand too that cryptocurrency is in its early stages. And, one thing is we are trying to upset things in, the financial system and find a better way of doing things in one aspect. But in this, on the flip side, there may not be a perfect way and there may be some considerations when it comes to those elements, and we're trying to sort those out.
What other considerations for people who don't know? So it's the environmental one around it takes too much water. Is that what people are concerned about?
Oh, not so much the water, but the computing power, the electricity, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The electricity and the cooling down.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. But I even looked into it and there was one really interesting survey around the banks and, the ATMs and, where the banks are situated and, putting that pound for pound against each other as well.
All the office buildings.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another one recently I saw only a few months ago, looking at what ChatGPT is using.
I've been criticised for that online.
Yeah. So there's those interesting factors at play. But again, I don't think, crypto and the blockchain is perfect. And like I said, it is a very new space.
Still developing. I've heard some people say as well, if you buy crypto, you're supporting criminals. Thoughts on that?
Oh gosh, look, that I don't even, play into that too much. I mean, every industry starts off somewhere and there's other supporting factors to show just how much the US dollar and other industries
like cash is used
many times over. So don't pay too much heed to that one.
Okay. Considerations, but no, there's definitely positives.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember I went to maybe it was a crypto conference a few years ago, and one of the speakers was talking about how good crypto is for developing countries where there's less trust in the government, and even for women when they can't access their own bank accounts and stuff like that. So I feel like those things might be able to outweigh it too. Yeah,
100%. Like just the mass amount of the world who is debanked right now, and just how much good it's doing there, which is another reason that this interested me way back when, like the just issues in places like Venezuela, where this has been super helpful. There's a lot of developing countries that they don't have a bank account, but they have a mobile phone. So It's super important.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine being in Australia where we have access to banks. You can open it up. There's none of this other stuff going on. But thinking about a place where you either don't trust the government, you don't trust the banks, or you actually aren't allowed to open a bank account is just a whole different world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's where the importance of stable coins comes into play as well.
What's a stable coin?
A whole other conversation. But we've talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are our blue chips, which make up 70% of the market. We're talking about a $3.3 trillion market at the moment. And stable coins is another one there. So they're pegged to, you can have a stable coin that's pegged to the Australian dollar or a US dollar. So that's obviously less volatile. But those, when you're talking cross-border and these countries, that's where they come into play too.
Yeah, amazing. What are the risks with investing in crypto? Is it safe? Can it be safe?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Look, there's always risks in any investment that you make. That's why you need to be educated and understand the market. But crypto is highly volatile, as a lot of people entering the space would understand. But we are getting less volatile as time goes on. And the market is very cyclical, and we seem to follow a 4-year market cycle. And the market has seemed to cooled off a little bit. Certainly this last few years, I think with the fact that we've had a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF that came into play this time last year. We've seen 1 year now of those ETFs, and I think just over $170 billion flown into those ETFs in the last year. So with that institutional money coming in, the volatility has pulled back a little bit. But it is a risk asset like, tech stocks. So when we do see any kind of global uncertainty, then these risk assets are the ones that take the hit and will pull back. And I think a lot of people that don't have the stomach for very strong pullbacks, the cryptocurrency, is maybe not the place.
No, especially if you don't understand it as well. And if you're like, oh, I'm buying it because it's doing well, then it drops. And if you don't really know why you've bought it in the first place, that can be really hard to keep it.
100%. My advice for anyone that is interested in cryptocurrency is do some research, but dollar cost average. Everything is dollar cost average. And that should be with kind of any investment, I feel. You need to average into the market with small increments. And that's why when you look at these 4-year cycles, you're going to catch those ups and downs. And then you won't be so prone to watching what's going on and seeing those big ups and downs. But again, even in the bull market or the up cycle, we'll still see maybe 13 or 14 big movements of between, 20 to 70%.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy, but it has been on that upward trajectory. An interesting stat that we talked about not long ago that we read, that had you invested $50 of Bitcoin into Bitcoin weekly since 2018, you'd have $100,000 now.
Yeah, wow.
And that's putting 15,000 in.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So that just shows the power of dollar cost averaging, slowly investing into the market and not looking, because it's very hard to take the emotion out of it, especially when you're seeing such wild swings.
Especially with all the stuff you see on social media. There's people wanting to buy Trump coin. We briefly touched on that. Melania, I've seen the Huck Tour coin as well.
Oh my golly,
so much
celebrities just need to stay in their lane.
Yeah. What do you think about those types of things? Should people be buying random ones like that?
No, that's gambling.
Yeah.
You may as well just head to the casino. But if you're interested in that, what I do like about those coins, not the Trump ones, but is the community.
Yes,
I do like the idea of taking a meme and turning it into something and having the community there and seeing where it goes. But you should know that you are 95%, 99% chance of losing that money, because it really is a gamble.
Yeah.
100% a gamble. That's a whole other entity on its own.
And be very careful of people in positions of power selling coins as well. I saw Lorenzo. He was the pastor at Trump's inauguration.
Oh my
He
golly.
launched the Lorenzo coin. Mm-hmm. Insane. It was like he was wearing the same outfit as his prayer when he was talking about God and praying, and then he stepped off, picked up his phone and was like, everyone needs to buy Lorenzo coin and support me and please do it. And that is horrifying.
Did you see what happened though? He then tried to sell out and knew nothing about crypto. He didn't know how to sell properly. He basically rugged his entire community.
I saw it dropped, yeah.
Yes. But he saw that he had something like 18 million and he was so excited and tried to sell, but there's something called slippage and there's a few other things he didn't know about, and I think he ended up with not even $1 million. And then he cried, that he had been, and it's a long story, and there's a lot of nefarious, really underhanded play going on with those things, so it's best to stay out. If you're new to the space, I wouldn't be heading into meme coins.
Yeah, no.
But it's an interesting point that you bring up, Tash, about the US and Trump and where he's going, and maybe in some ways doesn't paint crypto in a good light.
But then he's accepting of it.
That's what I wanted to get to, because all of last year in the lead up to the election, it wasn't just Trump. Obviously the Democrats were very pro crypto as well, because I think they do understand that this is the future. There is a lot of innovation in the space, a lot of really great things happening, but there needs to be some smarter and more proactive legislation to support this. And I think that's the really good thing to take out of that. Launching your own coin at the same time and, 10xing your wealth is probably not the smartest thing to do.
No, it's not. As the president, don't abuse that power.
Trump will be trumping.
Yeah.
But the other things happening there, which is, the implementation of a crypto committee with David Sachs is really interesting, and the possibility of a Bitcoin reserve, which should certainly help the position that they're in financially, is also very interesting. And, whatever happens in the US, all other nations look at. So that does put crypto in a very interesting position. But yeah, look, the meme coin side of things is certainly not something that new people should be looking at. You need to stick to the blue chips, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Is it just Bitcoin and Ethereum, or
Bitcoin and Ethereum do take up 75% of that. And then Ethereum, like we mentioned, being that kind of world computer with all the apps, if you take into consideration everything else that's built on Ethereum, that takes it up to about 85% market share.
Okay.
So they really are the ones to look at. And then everything else, do your own research, have a look. There's a lot of other really interesting projects being built. But again, you need to have a lot of time to look into those. And if you don't, then it's best to
not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like with shares. Like, I just buy ETFs because I don't want to do the research. And I feel the same about crypto. Like, I feel like it's easier to keep up to date with Bitcoin and Ethereum and feel okay with that versus like caring about whatever the next coin might be, because there's always new ones popping up every day.
You know what? It can get exciting. And you can, and that's why, like, we obviously have the Crypto Curious podcast where we give the news each week and let you know what's happening in the space, because you do need to level up. If you do find this interesting, then just educate. That's all we can say.
Okay, so listen to the podcast.
Listen to the podcast.
Can you find info?
There's some really great websites out there. The Cointelegraph, there's some great Aussie writers on there. What else is there?
Cointelegraph, did you say?
Yep, Cointelegraph. That's a really good one. Decrypt is another great news site. And Coin Bureau, which is another one. That's a YouTube channel. There's some great educational sites out there that'll keep you up to date with what's going on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How do we avoid getting scammed?
Gee, that's tough.
Yeah, because
that's a tough one.
Crypto's got a bad name because of a lot of the scams going around. So what are some red flags to look out for? Like, just generally, I guess, if anyone messages you randomly online offering to make you lots of money in crypto, red flag?
If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. You don't make money quick. Okay, unless you do happen to jump on a meme coin that does go to the moon. But again, that's gambling.
Yeah.
People that have made millions of dollars have probably done so on a meme coin, and it's been lucky.
Yeah.
And some of those people are probably people that are sitting in there watching all day and are really embedded in the space.
Like the Dumb Money movie. Where
the Dumb Money, that's what a great movie.
Where he's just sitting there like stressed the whole time waiting for it to go up or down. Yeah.
Exactly. It is so stressful. So, like your, get rich slow, this isn't get rich quick.
Yeah.
It's not about that. You'd have to be really lucky to do that. So just be careful of anything that's offering you the opportunity to get rich quick.
Yeah. How do we check platforms in Australia to make sure that they are legit? Is there somewhere we can go and check? Is there some kind of number or something?
Look, we have a lot of really great Australian exchanges. We've got 4 or 5, and I would be happy to recommend all Australian exchanges.
Okay.
They all do a really great job. There's international exchanges too. And when looking at an exchange to pick, if you are going to look at the exchange that offer you all different types of coins, the variance there would be the different fees that they charge and the different types of coins that you can get on there. But the best thing to do would be perhaps ask friends. If you're talking to people that are already using an exchange or investing themselves, it's probably good to find someone that can walk you through it. So if you know someone that you trust that's already doing it, sit down with them and they'll show you the exact website, the exact exchange. And if you are going to move something onto a hard wallet, which is like a little USB.
They terrify me.
Yeah.
So explain the process. You can buy it on an exchange and you can literally transfer it to like a hard drive
so
and just hold it.
Yeah. So there's different things, hot wallets and, cold wallets. And what we mean by that is if you have a warm wallet, as you want to call it, it's an app on your phone where you can hold some cryptocurrency, but then you may want to take that off your phone or your computer and hold it somewhere else so the scammers or people can't get to it. Now, that is called a hard wallet or a cold wallet. So you're basically taking that offline completely.
I could not.
Yeah,
I'd be so scared of like something happening, it getting stolen, I lose it, it gets wet. I don't know, like all these things.
I guess so. But you need to be, a lot of people then take those and put them in bank vaults, which is funny because you're trying to get away from the bank and yet you're putting it in a bank vault.
Gone full circle.
Yeah. So those, so the main ones are Trezor or Ledger. And then you need to make sure you're buying that from a very reputable site as well, because there's scams happening where you can put the wrong site in, you're buying one that's already got spyware in it. So you need to be very careful that you're buying the right one of those also. We actually had a funny story on the website this week. There's a gentleman who had, I don't know, it's $740 million worth of Bitcoin on an old hard drive that his ex-missus threw out.
On one hard drive?
Yes, because it was many years ago. I think it's like 15 years ago. And it's now in landfill in Wales somewhere.
Oh, my God.
And he's trying to buy the entire plot because they won't let him excavate it. So he's just trying to buy the entire.
Wow. Okay.
So he can get to this.
So if we have hard wallets, maybe have a few of them. Don't have.
Well, you just have to keep hold of it, and then you've got your seed phrase that goes with that you need to keep hold of.
I've heard, I'm sure other people would have as well, of the Hamish and Andy story. I remember on their podcast they were trying to guess the password to log in, and
correct.
Like, yeah, no. I reset my passwords all the time. Like
You just need to be diligent.
Yeah.
And but like anything, you're talking about your savings and your money. So
it feels so like having it on a hard drive that can be thrown out. It's just like, oh.
You just need to be careful in where you put that too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Not for me. And I think in Australia we have a lot more regulation, so I'm happy to leave my money somewhere where you can.
People are talking about, life-changing large amounts of money.
Yeah, $700 million.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy, like you said, I'm really comfortable with my Australian exchange that I use. I'm also happy to keep a small amount on other apps that I'm working with as well. So another tip is to maybe keep it spread out if you've got certain amounts in case things do happen.
So one of the ways you said you can buy cryptos on a full exchange, and there's also your app, Bamboo.
Yep. So we've got Bamboo app actually. We only offer Bitcoin and Ethereum and gold and silver, and we're very much that dollar cost average. So you can round up your spare change, link it to your account, and then we're more of a set and forget in the background, rounding up and dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and Ethereum as you go about your day. But if you do then decide that you'd like to look at some other coins, something's caught your eye, then you'll need to go and get onto one of the Australian exchanges. Like I said, we know them all intimately, and they're all really great exchanges. And you can join one of those.
Yeah, I've used SwiftX before. I quite like them.
SwiftX is great. Another one, CoinSpot, we really like. Yeah.
Would you say that Bamboo is kind of like the Raise equivalent in the crypto 100%.
Space? So that's before I was involved with Bamboo. I was a Raise user.
Okay.
And Vanguard ETF. So that for me I was like, hands down, here we go. This is my way to get into crypto without having to worry about jumping on an exchange. Because for me personally, when I remember very, very clearly the day 2018 that I looked at an exchange and saw the order books and the flows, and I thought, I can't do that.
It's a lot, yeah.
That's too much for me. I don't know how to do this. And I could just download the app, and then I've got my foot in the door, and I'm buying my crypto that way. But very quickly, I then wanted to know how to use that order book and take the next step. So
why did you put gold and silver on there as well?
We're big fans of gold and silver and hedging against inflation. And I think we're finding a lot of our users are as well. And anybody that has bought gold has done relatively well.
Yeah, recently, definitely.
Yeah, over time. So are you a fan of gold and silver?
It's just, one of those things where I'm like, it's just a metal, but it's like any of these other things, I guess, where it's like cash is even just bits of paper and we just attribute value
100%.
to it. Yeah.
Poor old silver gets a bad rap though, doesn't it?
I've kind of missed the hype around gold a little bit. My dad does work in gold mining, so I've kind of heard bits about it and stuff like that. But I've also seen him lose money on gold mining companies rather than gold itself. So it's kind of been a bit tainted for me.
He's heading into the juniors, was he?
I just don't really care about looking at individual things as much. In general, I prefer to just buy an ETF. I'm diversified anyway. Some of my kind of ETFs or funds or even your super funds might buy gold too. There's exposures there, but I just can't get excited about a piece of metal.
Yeah.
Not for me.
It is shiny.
Yes, it is. My grandma bought a little gold bar one time, and I remember that was she brought it home because she's very she's a bit older now and like wants to move away from the banks and stuff like that. She doesn't have it anymore, but yeah, it was like she brought it back in her handbag and I was like, oh my God.
Wow, that's awesome.
What are we doing? Yeah.
It's very cool.
So it's always been like, oh, that's a grandma thing to do. You buy gold because you don't trust the banks.
Yeah. That is such a grandma thing to do. Yeah. Or a me thing now. I think that's awesome. I think that's so cool.
Go pick it up on the Transperth train, bring it back. No.
Wow, that is so funny.
Yeah. But with all of this kind of stuff, like I prefer to take a view of I'm going to invest mostly in ETFs and property, and then I'll have like 5 to 10% maybe that I'll spend on extra things like crypto, maybe if I change my mind about gold, maybe gold in the future, but just generally not for me as much. Yeah.
Oh, look, my SMSF fund is the most diverse thing you'll ever look at. I have everything in there from NFTs to cows to
cows.
You
can buy cows in your super.
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
Interesting.
You can do. Yeah.
Learn something new every day. Can you buy any
property,
kind of farm
you can
animals?
You can do whatever you like. And well, cool. Check with the person that helps you run your SMSF, but you certainly can. Well, think about it. You can buy baseball cards. People buy cars. Have
you made much money on cows?
Cows have been great for the last few years. Maybe the last 12 months, not so much, but before that, they did incredibly well.
Oh my God, there's all these things you can look at once you've like started learning. But yeah, stick with the ETFs, then you can look into crypto and stuff, and then we can move on to cows.
And you can move on to cows,
Amazing.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there you go. One thing you do need to remember with crypto though, and you just touched on this with your portfolio and your percentages, it should only be a very small percentage of your portfolio. Yeah.
What's very small?
Like anything. Well, look, you need to look at what your portfolio and what your split is like in any percentage. I think the ETFs in the US were looking anywhere between 2 and 10%. But again, you need to look at your own portfolio and what you're happy with. But it's certainly not selling the house and putting it all into crypto.
No, definitely not.
Exactly. But I just wanted to mention, crypto is a volatile asset. And it certainly should just be a small % of your portfolio.
Yeah, and I think you should be careful about your goals and what they are as well. Like if you're trying 100%. To save for a house deposit, maybe don't buy crypto at all until you've bought your house and you're like kind of set and ready to go. Like you've got to balance those things too.
Absolutely.
You don't want to get too distracted and put a little bit everywhere and then not quite end up where you want to be.
Yeah. That's it. Everyone's got their own personal financial goals and you need to keep looking at those. And you need to also have a look at crypto and understand those market cycles and where we are in those. But again, I'm a firm believer in dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe look at how you set that portfolio up too, because as we mentioned, there's Bitcoin, Ethereum, which are the blue chips. And there are diminishing returns on those each market cycle. And those other, alternative coins and meme coins that are risky, they actually are high returns. So you might decide, for example, if you've got 1,000 to spend, putting 800 in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe, 200 in those riskier options, but, you might have an amazing return.
You might, or you might not.
Well, you might not.
Yes.
But again, depends on your risk appetite. Everyone knows where they're at and what works best for them.
And if you feel like gambling or investing as well. So if you're going to go to the casino, maybe you should just gamble on crypto.
That's it.
Yeah. I've never been a gambler. I've never quite understood the going to the casino vibe. It's just not for me. I don't enjoy it at all. I don't enjoy the stress of losing money. But if you're that person, maybe you'll be more productive with it.
Everyone's different.
Yes. Fun. One of the reasons I really like Bamboo is because you can't get too distracted by those meme coins, because when you first start, like you were saying, it can be so overwhelming. So I do like where it's like you can just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and you're not getting distracted by here's today's biggest gainer that gained 1,000% overnight. Like you're not distracted by that, which is good.
Yeah, and it was just there. It's basically set and forget. So you feel like, okay, I've got my foot in the door. I've got a bit of crypto and it's just happening in the background. It's taking it's taking your spare change and you're investing and it's done.
And then you can see what happens. Wait and watch it for a year or two and then be like, do I like this? Do I not? Let's see.
Yeah, but I think you do have to set a goal to say, right, I'm gonna keep it in there for the next couple of years and see how it goes and set those goals.
Fun. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been great. You've mentioned your podcast, Crypto Curious.
Yes,
your art is Bamboo. Are there any other resources you want to share with us?
No, I think that's it. You should be all cryptoed out by then.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you found this episode helpful, please rate us 5 stars, write a review, or share with a friend. If you're new to investing, make sure to listen to our first 10 episodes. Follow us at Get Rich Slow Club or Tash at Tash Invest or me at Ana Cristina.
This show was brought to you by Natasha Etchman, who is an authorized representative 1299881 of Guideway Financial Services, AFSL 420367, and Perla, who is an authorized representative 1281540 of Sanlam Private Wealth, AFSL 337927. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing. So make sure you check out our financial services guides and read the product disclosure statement and target market determination for any investments you're considering. See our show notes for more info.